This man is keeping silent. Inside his head, thoughts rush around, one after another. Thoughts of the future and thoughts of the past. Regrets and hopes colliding.
I looked into the future once.
The man is speaking to somebody. He wants to see them. You was talking about the future?
I looked into the future once.
You looked into the future once.
I don't understand what I saw.
You don't understand what you saw.
Because it was too vivid. It almost blinded me.
The future almost blinded you.
I saw myself. I vividly saw myself.
You saw yourself in the future, and you didn't like what you saw. Because it was too vivid.
And not understandable.
May I ask you a question? When you looked into the future, how did you know it was the future? Was it very different from the past?
I don't remember having done it before.
See, now we're talking about memory.
Yes. Fallible.
Memory is about the past, isn't it?
Yes, and the future has not come. And if the future is what I saw it to be, too vivid, and I saw myself. I saw myself.
Were you old? Were you bright? Or was it the background that was vivid?
It may have been that. It may have been that I was washed out by the brightness of the background.
The main problem was you didn't understand, right?
Yes. I didn't understand what was out there.
What's happening What was happening? You didn't understand what was happening and why it was all so vivid because you're so used to everything being dull and monochrome.
Yes, our lives seem to be of a time, of an age, of a moment but to see yourself, to be outside yourself and to see yourself moving. To maybe just slightly, like, as from a distance you hear yourself as a bird calling in a tree.
So there was sound.
It was mainly the vision.
Yes, it was mainly the vision, but you just talked about sound.
Yes. Minimal
Sound.
Whispered, distant, almost squeaking.
Like
I assumed
a bird. Like a bird.
like a bird.
Like a bird in a tree.
You understand too well.
I look at birds out of my window. There's a tree outside. There's a tree on which pigeons sleep.
But you don't see yourself. You see.
I see the pigeons. I see the pigeons for what they are. They're just other creatures. They've got every right to exist, and I count myself as privileged to be their neighbour. And I enjoy their presence because without them, I wouldn't see much other life in this strangely monochrome world.
Does the future have a right to exist?
Now we're talking about rights.
Yes, you mentioned the rights of birds, but does the future have a right to exist in the present? See, now I am remembering something that happened in the future, and now for me it is the past, but it is also the future. And
So you want to go back to the future. So you want to understand what you saw. You want to get a handle on it and see yourself again as you were in the future when you were distant, like a squeaking bird. And this is what's causing you such anguish. So, do you remember what it was that triggered your ability or your desire or your motivation to see the future of which you speak? Where were you?
I'll tell you. I was thinking of having a shave.
Right.
And then I saw myself.
You saw yourself in the mirror.
I saw myself in the mirror.
And didn't recognize yourself.
Far too vivid. Far too bright. And it moved at different times to me. It did something vastly different to the things that I do. He I was behaving in an unfamiliar way.
Let's go back to that moment of the shave then. You walked into the bathroom, as usual. You ran the hot tap into your little basin.
Yes.
You wetted your face.
Yes.
Then you proceeded to put shaving cream all over your cheeks. And then you looked in the mirror and didn't.
And it was as if the sun had suddenly burst forth on my features.
The light was on. You have to put the light on, otherwise you can't see what you're doing. You might leave a bit.
And the reflected light strained my eyes.
Yeah. Perhaps you got some soap in your eyes and it was all a blur. You didn't know what you were doing. You had pain. You cut yourself and the blood ran down your cheek. And you tried to pat it away. And the more you patted it away, the more the water became red.
I cut myself not shaving. Because look, I still have a beard. But in the mirror, you're right, the blood was trickling down my face. So I knew that I was to, at some point,
the blood that trickled down your face and into the bowl, making all the water red. Did you just pull the plug and watch it drain away, or did you stare into it?
I stared.
You saw your reflection.
I stared into the blood.
Yeah.
There was another reflection in the water.
And it wasn't you. Not the you that you knew. This is the first time I've ever heard something like this. This is new to me. This is a novel experience.
Is it?
Yeah.
Could it be just madness?
Yes. It could be just madness, plain and simple. It could be that you are totally and utterly round the bend and bonkers. It could be you're making a mountain out of a molehill. It could be it was just a dream. It could be that it never happened, and you imagined the whole thing. That you thought, oh, what if I cut myself and bleed to death right now in front of this mirror? There's no one to save me. And you went off into a flight of fancy. I would die here on this bathroom floor, and I'd start to stink the place out, and they'd come and scrape my remains away and take me to the morgue. All of these thoughts went through your head in a split second. That's when you relived your whole life, all your regrets and all your hopes. Just like that. But look at your face, how clean and how unblemished it is, and how indeed you have a beard. Isn't this proof enough that this is just a figment of your tormented mind?
Torment indeed. For that brilliance, that brightness, that vividity puts me in the shade, and I see myself so differently now.
Yes. Well, this is one of those situations, isn't it? It's one of those difficult situations when your thoughts are more important than anything else in the world. It's as if the contents of your brain are more enormous and gigantic and important than the whole of the rest of the universe put together. Now, if you ask me, and you may not ask me, but if you were to ask me, I would say that's a little extreme. Let's say it's true. Let's say you did see yourself in the future. And let's say you were too vivid, and you were like a bird squeaking in a tree. What difference does it make? That's what I always say. What
My
difference does it
life
make?
is so unimportant.
Exactly.
Even with my visions and my madness.
You're just insignificant. You're just you're just another image, you're just another silhouette, you're just another body, you're just another one of the millions and billions of others. All the other shavers in this world all worrying about cutting themselves and bleeding to death on the tiled floor and causing a mess and annoying their neighbours and being a bother.
Do I bother you?
Well, when you go off on one of these, yes, you do bother me because I like a tranquil life. I like to look at the birds. I like to relax. I like to enjoy the moment. I don't like to dwell on what future may or may not hold.
And I've pointed you towards something that may not be significant for you, and
Yes, and what?
you're not frightened of it, or are you avoiding your own fear?
I'm watching you. You called me. I answered the call.
Yes.
I don't want to go down to your level because you don't look very happy. I don't want to be like you. I'm sorry, but I don't want to end up fretting my life away. Have you ever thought about me? What it's like for me to have to be here and call in to check on you all the time? Have you ever thought that it might be a little bit annoying? It might be not the highlight of my day. Have you ever crossed your little mind that your behaviour might be affecting me adversely? That's a real question.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I just needed to unburden.
Upload. You needed to upload is what you needed to do. Upload your guilt, upload your anguish to somebody else. And I'm the one who takes it in. Well, I'm a sponge. I absorb and then I'll be squeezed out later. Ready again to absorb the next time. Meanwhile, copious notes, photographs, films, all will be studied and put into the archives.
And you will leave me with my demon, my...
Well, yes, I'm going to leave you with your demon because I can't take your demon away. But as you said, just now, you said something very pertinent. You said something along the lines of, is it madness? And if it's madness, it's not real, is it? And therefore, there's no point in getting your knickers in a twist.
No.
That's all right then.
Yes.
Would you like me to tell you about my day? Or are you bored already?
Tell me.
Well, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, hauled myself out of my comfortable warm bed, got under a cold shower, dried myself with a rough towel, shaved, didn't cut myself once, brushed my teeth with bicarbonate of soda, and I walked into my kitchen and I boiled some water to make a lovely cup of tea, and I put the bread into the toaster and I had 2 slices of delicious wholemeal bread toasted to perfection, after which I washed my plate, washed my cup, and I put on my clothes and I went out for a walk, looking for some birds to observe. I saw the pigeons, I saw the doves, I looked at the people walking round, all smiling and having a lovely time. Then I had my lunch. What did I have? I had a lovely portion of chips. It was a lovely day. I'll check in on you tomorrow at the same time.
Yes.
Glad to see you're feeling better.